Leaving my hometown was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Moving to a bigger city did wonders to my life. My life has changed for good. During my entire childhood, I was an extremely unconfident, timid, and a shy kid. My classmates barely noticed me. And even after completing my high school, I still felt like a completely invisible person. I had somewhere subconsciously just accepted that this is who I am, and this is how I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. But leaving my hometown did wonders to my life. It made me confident, it made me brave, it forced me to clean up my slate and fill it up with new, efficient, and bold ways to live my life. The entire experience of leaving my hometown was literally like an evolution. To know exactly how and why leaving your hometown might completely change your life, stay tuned till the end of this video. Your hometown is a place where as a toddler you first began learning about life. A place where you have your family, the first friends that you made, a place where your school teachers taught you science, math, history, arts, and sports. A place where you had your first crush, a place where you enjoyed the first bite of your favorite street food. Your hometown shapes you up as a person. This is the place where your core beliefs of life are formed. And not just you, but every single person of your hometown has had or will be going through similar beats in their life. Your hometown is the place where you're most likely to find people with similar thought patterns or people who provide you with your comfort zone. Now, you might feel that if everything's so good about your hometown, why have I even made this video on the very topic of leaving your hometown? All throughout this video, I'll be sharing random incidents of my life, from my childhood till the present day, that timely assured me of making the right decision to move out of my hometown. During my mid-teens, I was genuinely interested in playing football, but I soon realized that I needed a lot more practice to be a decent player. Older children and also most adults made me feel somewhat shameful and guilty for not being able to play the sport efficiently. This experience made me feel like not wanting to play any team sport ever in my life. This stance of mine was completely changed when I moved to a bigger city for my college degree. In this big city, I discovered that in my university, besides some pro players, there were also many other guys who were not good at football, but they were genuinely interested in playing the sport. And unlike my hometown, in this big new city, nobody really shamed us for not being good players, but instead patiently helped us to get better at the game, which resulted in our team winning the local championship. This was the very first time which made me realize that there were many people like me in this world, whereas in my hometown, I felt like I was the only bad player. This was a major eye-opening lesson of sorts for me. I felt the gravity of a major power move I had made by just shifting to a new city. It made me realize that there are many people like me in this world, which somewhat gave me a sense of belonging for the very first time in my life. With this very incident, I had discovered a newer, more confident side of mine for the very first time, because I had actually become victorious at a sport which the hometown version of me wouldn't have even thought of winning. Now when I look in retrospect, I have so many instances like this from my childhood to the present day, which for me were eye-opening encounters that I have condensed into 7 life lessons for myself, and I would love to share them with you. The first lesson was that I became brave and my communication skills developed. Initially, when I first moved to the city, I felt a lot lonelier. I had to figure everything out about the city on my own. But isn't that obvious? No. For me, it was not, because I was used to spoon feeding back home. Plus, I was an introvert. For me at first, everything felt overwhelming, from starting my undergrad course to getting my first job at Walmart. But as some days passed, I came to a realization that I did it all on my own. There came many more situations like this where I was figuring everything out by myself. And this made me realize that I am self-sufficient. This also ended my overdependence on people. Also, back home, I had developed fears about things and situations, like fear of traveling solo, fear of talking to polished and fancy people, the fear that developed from having preconceived notions about people living in big cities, because I thought that they were all party animals who would forcefully intoxicate me. They were cruel and they would scam me and snatch away everything I had. Now, all of this in hindsight feels extremely silly to me because my experience in this big city was nothing similar to it. Yes, there are people like this in big cities, but it's very much up to us as to whom we choose to deal with or become friends with. In my hometown, I even felt scared to talk to people. I would just blabber something in my replies and I would run away as fast as I could from having any conversations. Being all by myself in the city forced me to talk to strangers. As people in the cities are always in rush, they hate repeating anything that they talk, and this forced me to actively listen to the person talking, process it all, and then reply. Gradually, my communication skills exponentially improved. I could interact with people in a more cordial and empathetic way. And the best part was that some of the very strangers that I was listening and talking to became my close friends. Lesson number 2, I developed a sense of self. Moving to a bigger city made me realize that nobody cares. Everybody's occupied with something. Nobody's even thinking about me as much as I think them thinking about me. And this somewhere allowed me to be myself and helped me in getting out of my comfort zone. I realized that here nobody knows me. Nobody knows that I am an introvert. So I put on a fake brave face and started taking initiatives and responsibilities in every other group projects or social gatherings just to see for myself how good I could manage it all. And with some hiccups, I did well most of the times. Similarly, in college, I also tried my hand at improv stand-up comedy, which honestly went bad, but I was happy that I tried it because it made me realize that I was pushing my own boundaries regardless of the outcome and without any fear of judgment. And now I was eager to discover my different facets. Because of people's judgmental attitude in my hometown, I didn't really let myself do things that I always wanted to do, like public speaking and improv comedy. Another change in me that I noticed was that I started handling situations better, because back then if I came across a difficult situation, I would always leave it to my parents to handle it, and they would gladly help.
But by moving away, I realized that there's no one around to help me out.
And this forced me to find solutions to testing times on my own. The things I needed help for in my hometown were now not as difficult, because I constantly kept discovering new ways to get around difficult situations. Lesson number 3, my appearance improved. This lesson is somewhat special to me. By constantly looking at all the fancy, polished and stylish people in big cities, my sense of style improved. I started grooming myself. I started paying extra attention to my dressing sense, to the way I talked, to the way I walked, and to enhance my appearance even further, I started working out, which prompted me in eating healthy food, leading to an overall improvement in my health. I started putting on muscles. My clothes started fitting me well. When you look good and you feel good, you also feel confident. Back in my hometown, I was an invisible person. Nobody even bothered to pay any attention to me. And now I was getting noticed by people around me. All of this made me more visible, and it resulted in me in getting more dates, eventually leading to a relationship. If you like this video up until now, then please like, share and subscribe. With my new channel, this will greatly help me. Now getting back to the video. Moving on to lesson number 4. In cities, you find more like-minded people. Like I previously mentioned, I didn't really play football in my town as a kid out of the fear of being discouraged. But in the city, there were a number of clubs of children, middle-aged people, also older people who wanted to learn not only popular activities like sports, driving, cooking, singing, etc., but also the not so popular activities like pottery, gardening, language classes, to name a few. Cities also have a wider variety of human beings, and almost half of the city population is comprised of migrants and immigrants who bring with them their culture, their food, and their talents. In true sense, cities always have something and someone for everyone. Interested in Korean culture? Go to the weekend meetup at the nearest Korean cultural center. Wanna try flavorful Indian food? Go to the nearest Indian restaurant. Wanna know how to make the most of your Amex credit card? Attend a lecture or a masterclass from a financial expert from the Wall Street. Feeling low and wanna lift your spirits up? Then go and pet some dogs at the nearest trending dog cafe and completely forget about your worries. Given the scope and availability for anything and everything in the cities, you're most likely to find something relatable to you, eventually meeting and bonding with people with similar interests as you. No matter how unusual your interests might be, in cities, you'll always end up finding your tribe. Lesson number 5, improvement in my financial knowledge. People in big cities had skills to make money out of dust and trash. Yes, literally out of trash. I came across convenience stores that had set up vending machines that would give out coupons for free food sampling in exchange of recycling empty plastic bottles. And most of us enjoy free food sampling. When people would redeem their coupons and try those free food samples, they would end up buying more of these food items. Additionally, the convenience stores would sell all the collected plastic trash to the recycled goods manufacturers and make extra money out of the sale. A classic case of hunting two birds with one stone. I also started visiting banks more, thus improving my know-hows of banking. Bigger cities have bigger economies, so there are high chances that you might end up getting paid more for the same amount of effort you would have put at the same kind of job in your hometown. Also, there's more availability and variety of part-time work. I was shocked to know that some people were making $80,000 a year just by walking dogs around the neighborhood. Cities reward you exponentially for your earnest efforts. You just have to consciously look for opportunities. Lesson number 6. Cities give you your daily dose of motivation. People in big cities were hustlers. I could see a lot of super successful people around me who had the go-get attitude and who wouldn't take no for an answer. They would navigate, negotiate, and sometimes, sadly, even manipulate to reach their goals, which initially completely blew me off. Because people back in hometown were extremely laid back. It felt as if their entire life was sorted. Watching hustlers around me fueled me up with a strong desire to be successful in my career. Watching people drive expensive cars, bikes, live and dine in luxurious homes and restaurants opened up my mind to a new set of desires. Yes, this might feel like I had developed a materialistic attitude, but all these desires have forced me to work even more harder. Because who doesn't want their family to have a good life? As the famous quote goes, you end up becoming like people you surround yourself the most with. So now I consciously observe successful people and I try and be around in their vicinity because you learn a lot from them for absolutely free. If I had stayed in my hometown, I would have never been able to see this side of the world up close and in reality. Yes, it's hella materialistic, but extremely motivating. Lesson number 7. You develop newer perspective. Your hometown is basically an echo chamber of people with similar thinking. As the saying goes, an apple does not fall far from the tree. In the same way, people in your hometown are most likely to resonate with each other. And if one has different approach or different set of beliefs, then that might make you feel out of place. Or it might make you feel like you're the one who's always at wrong. Whatever you learn from your elders or people around you becomes your core set of beliefs, or your blueprint to live your life, which honestly is kind of a restrictive way to live your life because you can't think for yourself beyond those dogmatic core beliefs formed while growing up in your hometown. This alienates you from the limitless possibilities that life has to offer. But by moving out, you meet new people and then you realize that life should be lived exactly the way you want to. My approach to things changed. I realized that I don't have to be married to my past views. Things are not set in stone, and there are multiple ways to approach your goals because I saw a lot of people hustle differently than I was used to in my hometown, and this opened up my mind to many possibilities and to many ways to achieve my goals. Here's an incident. I recently traveled back to my hometown for some work, and I accidentally met a lot of my schoolmates. I felt trapped for the brief time we were together. I felt like running away from that location as fast as I could, because those conversations were pretty much the same that we had been having since the time of our school, which mostly involved gossips and leg pulling. It felt as if the conversation was dragging me back to my old, previous, younger self. I momentarily time traveled to the older version of mine, which I no longer relate to. I immediately left that scenario. If I had never left my hometown, then in scenarios like this, I would have never known what to do. I would have suffered terribly by being around people who would drain my energy, hence compromising on my mental health. If certain people drain your energy, then it's always okay to maintain your distance from them. Now when I look in hindsight, the biggest benefit of leaving my hometown was to see who I was outside of what I was raised into. Now, some of you might argue that in today's world of super fast internet connectivity, you can learn about new cultures, new perspectives, and new thought processes through the internet without even getting outside of your bed. So it's not really that necessary to leave your hometown just to broaden your thinking. Well, for those people, I would like to say that experiencing new place in person is a deeply soul-nourishing and transformational experience. You get to meet actual real people in person. You get to live the ground reality of a completely new place. Everything around you is real. Whereas on the internet, it's nothing but a curated algorithm which thrives on negativity. And the sad part is that you have to consciously search for feel-good content these days because the algorithm thrives on negativity. Internet algorithm has high chances of making even an open-minded person completely ignorant. The algorithm shows you only what you want to see, making one even more narrow-minded with each passing day. No wonder the world is experiencing sadness these days. So yes, the internet has somewhat benefited humanity. But no, it won't transform you as a person, but a real-life ground experience will do wonders to your personality. So here are a few things that you need to consider before moving out. Before you move out, first make sure that you have enough savings for your basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, at least for 3 months. Before moving out, also try finding out accommodation, job opportunities, transport, insurance and medical facilities, and affordability in cities you're trying to move to. When it comes to accommodation, prioritize safer, violence-free areas which would provide you with a sense of security. Keep information about communities or people you might know beforehand from your town or village who live in the city you're planning to move to. But do not try and establish contact with them. Because then what's the point of moving away if you end up spending time with the exact same people, with the exact same mindset, but just in a new location? Also, in your university, you will meet people who will become your tribe, friends, dates, partners, and eventually your new family. So don't worry much, just make that move. It's all gonna be great. So finally, I would like to say that leaving my hometown made me self-reliant, more confident. I gained fresher perspective on matters that previously felt dogmatic to me. I found myself right in the center of an ocean of opportunities. I kept meeting newer people who constantly kept adding knowledge, expertise, experiences and value to my life. It made me evolve into a version of me that once felt like a distant dream. And moving to a bigger cosmopolitan city also made me considerate and a more open-minded person. It introduced me to people following different religions, different cultures, people with different human characteristics. Overall, in short, it revealed and unlocked a brand new version of mine which I still keep discovering. Honestly, my life has changed for good. If you are going through a similar phase in life that I had previously been through, then give it a shot. Try leaving your hometown and make that move to a bigger city or altogether to a newer country. Let me make it clear that not everybody needs to leave their hometown in order to find themselves, to completely reinvent themselves, or to just be successful at life. One might live their life to their fullest potential even in their hometown, because it is very subjective and it just depends on what you want from your life. I personally felt stuck in my hometown. It always felt as if I wanted to do more, but the location, or more so people's perception about me, restricted me from approaching or doing things differently. I needed badly to break myself from my own mold. This is entirely my personal life experience. Some people might relate to it, and for some, this video might not make any sense at all. So do what feels right for yourself. What works for one person might not work for the other. But the most important constant in life since the beginning of this universe has been evolution. So don't ever stop evolving. Chart your own life path and constantly keep evolving. Let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. If you found this video helpful, or if you connected with it even for a slightest bit, then let me know in the comment section as well. So that is it for today. If you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe. This is a new channel and you liking, sharing and subscribing to it will push this video even further into the algorithm, making it more and more visible throughout YouTube. So please like, share and subscribe and stay tuned for more.